In Warrenville, Winfield Road is blocked between Mack and Swan Lake Drive with an injury crash. In Antioch, an injury crash investigation has Route 173 closed between Converse Road and Lake Avenue. In Fox Lake, an injury crash on northbound Route 59 at Big Hollow. In Elgin, long delays on Randall Road at Big Timber as the flashing. In Elgin, big delays on Randall Road at Big Timber as the traffic lights are flashing red. In Elk Grove Village, an injury crash at Beesterfield and Meacham. North on I-57 near Peatone, the right lane's blocked with a 5-car pileup. Outbound at 159th, an injury spin-out crash in the ditch. Kennedy in from O'Hare 23, outbound in 24. Ike in from 390 at 35. That's traffic. I'm Mary DeBadges.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7 with supplies and solutions for every industry and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Well, hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, January 5th, and we are so grateful that you're here. And I know that was a great conversation with Joan and talking to Paul and all the great guests and topics, you know, listening to a little bit of the back and forth in regards to very, just such crucial issues right now, which is CPS and the CPD, our schools, our police department. And I am a mother of a child, and, he's 18 now, so I have an adult at a high school in Chicago who's missed quite a bit of in-person school, that social connections. Imagine losing your entire junior year. I don't know what your junior year was like, but that was when I started coming into my own. I was starting to get confident. I had my own car. I was hanging out with my friends, and I had junior prom and all the different things that are part of, who I am now. I mean, I have to say that my junior year was where I started to understand a little bit better about what I was studying in school. I was just more self-aware, and Griffin has lost out a lot on that. And I mean, both my sons, Declan, without the structure of school, can slide. He is not in a public school in the city because there's a process by which when there is not a program appropriate for kids who are diverse learners like Declan, they find programs that fit better. And so Declan is in the suburbs in a therapeutic day school where he has a one-to-one aide and needs different kinds of attention. For Griffin at a public school, it's been a very hard time, and I know that people want to deliver judgment on how this all, as far as it just all feels wrong. And I have to say that Paul's right about there's no way CPS didn't know this wasn't coming, that there should have been a plan in place for it was coming, that the teachers had not been given the metrics. They had not come to an agreement on what it was going to take in order to close the schools again. NBC News is reporting that of all the tests being taken for COVID in the city of Chicago, it's now 1 in 4 is coming back positive. And that is significant. The hospitalizations are through the roof. And to say that kids are safer in schools is to say that there's an acceptable rate of kids getting sick, of passing it on to somebody who might die. I don't know how you make those choices. I get it. I get that there has been obviously a surge in violence too. That's been part of this pandemic. But we're saying that go to school and take your chances. Before the Omicron surge and these spikes in cases, we were already getting about 300 to 400 students a week in CPS that were testing positive, and now towards the end of December, before the break, it was up to 800 students per week. So why I think that the teachers they have a position of, we're trying to make this safe. And that was another great point that Paul made, was that why aren't they testing at the schools? Why aren't we vaccinating at the schools? What is being done with all of that money that the city of Chicago got? And I have to say, I don't know why we haven't been able to figure out a way to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible, because I do not feel that is the case with this part of the pandemic that we've entered into with Omicron. Yes, the symptoms are less severe. The hospitalizations, as far as what they were for Delta, not as many people are on ventilators or in the ICUs, but it's over 11% of hospitals that are taking in patients. 11% of patients being seen are COVID patients. It's putting a strain on our medical professionals. And if we have the kids we talk about the restaurants being a place where the virus spreads. Schools are another place where the transmission rate, this is so highly contagious. There are scientists and researchers who say you just need to be in the same room as someone who is positive, who is carrying COVID, to really increase your risk of catching it yourself. And so I'm sorry that I'm sorry that the kids have to stay home. I am ticked that we did not know until after 11. And let me check my phone record, because I believe I got an email last night, and I can check and see where CPS came in. But I will tell you, I got a robocall. I did not get one after midnight. I mean, it was after midnight. It was like 6:10 in the morning. And yeah, at 6:10 in the morning, if that's when a parent found out, when they woke up, what were they supposed to do in order to make sure they had childcare? You know, I have an 18-year-old, I have a 16-year-old, so I'm in a different situation. I don't know how I would scramble or find a solution to make sure that my kids were taken care of when they were little and we weren't home. I mean, I used to travel. That would mean that, Steve would have had to take his day off from work. A lot of us, I know that a lot of companies are being flexible when it comes to making sure that people can work remotely in these situations. But there are a lot of people who cannot and do not have the resources or the privilege to work from home and make sure that their kids have everything that they need and stay safe. So my email came in last night at 11:32. So the vote, I believe we learned about the vote at about 11 p.m. And I have to imagine a lot of parents just stayed up to make sure that they knew what their day was going to look like. But even then, by 10 o'clock, you need to know what 9 o'clock. We all need more information in a timely way. So I also, let's see, from the 773, we have a texter who says parents who are essential workers and service workers can't work remote. Exactly. This was handled horribly, and I just don't know why it was not tackled during the break. There was no way they were unaware that this was going to happen. That there was going to be this standoff, and that was another thing I agree with Paul on, that CPS, the mayor, know that these are hardline negotiators, and I think that's a good point too that they made about, I want to know what these conversations are like, who really is saying what, because they walk up to the podiums and they give their side of the story and say that the other side is being unreasonable, and then we're all left to go, I don't know who to believe. So let me know, what have you what was your day like if you have kids in CPS, or what do you think about the way this was approached and how they are handling it? 773-763-WCPT. That's 773-763-9278. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez. And hey, we have a great news team. I know that you guys have by now know about Heartland Signal, and you can find out all the stories that they're covering and amplifying. And I believe it was Stephen Colbert picked up on their story about Ron Johnson saying that basically God gave him everything he needed to fight COVID, and he has survived COVID. And I mean, I guess, is he saying that God just didn't love the other 820 26,000 people who lost their lives, and perhaps they don't have the love of God to make sure that they don't have long haul disease. All the millions of people who are suffering with the long lasting effects of COVID, and I mean, their bodies within a year. Did you know that with that COVID patients within the first year after recovery are 2.5 times more likely to die? I'm sorry, I hate to say this because I know there are a lot of people who are listening, but we are not able to capture the information as to all the other effects that COVID is having on people. Hannity claims, okay, there's more text coming in. So again, text me or call 773-763-9278. Hannity claims his lawyer-client privilege. Oh, yeah, and enrolls in Trump's new law school. Is that going to be a solution for Hannity to get out of testifying after he's been subpoenaed? By the way, that's another conversation for this hour, of course, is tomorrow is January 6th. And it is so strange to have people walk in front of a camera and talk to the American people and still say that the election was stolen and that it wasn't really that violent and there's nothing here. It is very frustrating that Merrick Garland does not seem to have a sense of urgency. Yes, he says that he will prosecute everybody, and I know I've been listening to these conversations all day. Maybe you have as well, that the justice system, is the wheels turn slowly. This seems like something where we need to have more urgency. People need to be running through the halls saying, something has to be done, like their pants are on fire, like their lives depend on it, because they do. If you get a chance tomorrow, I believe we are releasing it tomorrow. Former federal prosecutor Renato Mariotti, who hosts the podcast On Topic. I am a co-host on there. I generally ask some of the questions that come from listeners. We interviewed Congressman Quigley, and listening to him talk about what it was like as they could hear people trying to break through windows and crash through doors and attack police officers. And he heard the gunshot of the woman who was trying to get into the chambers of the speaker. And we talked a little bit about the folks that still work in the Capitol and what it is like. They have essentially accepted the fact that at any given moment they could be under attack, and they've gotten threats in the past, but it has changed their confidence in how secure and safe the Capitol is, because they had always operated under the assumption, and they had no reason not to up until January 6th of 2020, that they were in perhaps the safest building, one of the safest buildings in the country, in the world. And now you have folks who are dealing with PTSD, who, never know when their lives might be in danger again. And some folks have left the Capitol. They no longer work there. Staffers and police officers, they can no longer return to the site of trauma. Over 100 people were injured. We know that police officers have lost their lives. And today, when we come back, let's talk about this. There's a story that just broke earlier today. I believe it broke today, but there are several police officers that are going to be filing suit against Trump. And so, where do Back the Blue and the Law and Order, where do they stand on these police officers who demand justice? And if it's not going to happen at the level at which I know so many of us desire, which is federal prosecutions, holding people accountable. Look, didn't Trump push through this legislation or this order that if you enter a building during a protest, a federal building, that you can be held to a higher standard of justice, of punishment? I think it was like up to 10 years. Are people being prosecuted with that? So many questions, so many frustrations. But there are 3 law enforcement officers who claim they were injured and emotionally traumatized during the riots at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, and they are filing lawsuits against former President Donald Trump. So this is another place where, look, this is what Trump does. If he doesn't like something, he sues them. Well, this is a way in which to hold him accountable. And if there's nothing he hates more, it is being embarrassed, being humiliated. And let's keep doing that. More of that, please. 773-763-9278. You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. That's me. We'll be right back.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-390-2470. 800-390-2470. 800-390-2470. That's 800-390-2470.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
On January 6, 2021, followers of Trump and something called QAnon attempted a coup at the United States Capitol. Who are these people?
I want to live with the QAnon girl. I could be happy the rest of my life with a QAnon girl. Believer of theory, she leans to the right. She never gets weary of being gullible and white. She's my QAnon girl.
And like members of any cult, these folks seem willing to follow the directions of their leaders, no matter how irrational or insane or stupid they may be.
She likes crazy leaders, she likes worshiping. She learned from a young age to believe anything. She's my QAnon girl.
You're listening to Driving at Home with Patti Vasquez. That's me. And Lady B is here with us today and answering the phone. So when you go, oh no, is Lady B not here? Hey, Paul. Paul just like shoved back and he's like, no, that would be me behind the glass. Sometimes I can't see with the lights in my eyes. Hey, Paul, good to see you. And I don't think we have any guests today. I am actually waiting to hear from Representative Jaime Andrade. So I need to actually probably put you on the loop with my doc. Sorry about that. Representative Jaime Andrade is in, well, I don't know if he's in Springfield or not, and I'll have to check, get some updates from what is going on in our own state of Illinois in Springfield. Kind of some shenanigans with, I know it's surprising, with the state Republicans down in the Senate chamber. Apparently they realized that they might not have enough people present for a quorum. The Democrats might not have enough, and so they maybe just decided not to be present for a quorum. And that's where things stood earlier. And I know that in the House chamber, the House of Representatives in Springfield, they have been waiting for a vote on, and I don't know if they took it or not. Here, Rich Miller from Capitol Facts is reporting that the Senate GOP is using an attendance issue. When Senate Republicans learned Democrats were having some serious attendance issues, all of the Senate Republicans, except for Leader McConaughey, left the Capitol to block the Senate from reaching a quorum. Democrats need at least 30 of their 41 members to reach a quorum. Senate GOP is using this attendance issue to protest the Democrats' judicial maps and technical changes to the updated election law, not to mention the ongoing Zoom legislature that's going on its third. It's actually, I guess in the Senate is going on their third year because the House under Madigan did not conduct business by Zoom. They just didn't do anything. Anyway, there's some things that we are going to dig deep on someday with what happened during the first year of the pandemic, but today's not the day. I want to focus on this madness. So right now, I believe only Leader McConchy is in Springfield. Just so you know, I think that while we look at the national stories, and January 6th is top of mind, I mean, the shenanigans that goes on in our capital, I think that we really need to pay more attention. This is one of the things that I should write a book called Days and Nights of Springfield, because I spent 3 years down there. And I don't know if some of the legislators are listening right now, they're like, oh God, what did I tell Patty? What did I tell Patty? Yeah, you better worry, because I take a lot of notes. But the Senate Democrats were short on their attendance today. Their chamber was supposed to convene at 11 o'clock. That was moved back to 2 when they tried to convince members to get their derrieres into town. I don't know. I'd like to know why there were so many, why they couldn't get at least 30 Senate Democrats to the chamber. That's a little bit strange. It seems clear that the Republicans are upset with the way the sub-circuit remap bill is being put through. Leader McConchy said after the bill was debated in Senate Executive Committee, she says, I'll just say that I am again deeply disappointed at the redistricting process on a number of levels. I will say mostly in regards to the lack of transparency in regards to this process. And I mean, this is something that not only I have raised, but the courts have also raised. And I believe that I don't know if this is one of the cases that's already been decided in the courts, but the Senate Dems were holding a caucus meeting at 2. Let's see what these updates. Senate President Harmon told his members during caucus that they only had 29 Dems in Springfield with a couple more drive. I need to know more. All right, let's. I'm gonna make some phone calls right now. I guess I can't call while I'm on the air, Paul. This seems like one of those multitasking things that I can't accomplish. Jim, what's on your mind? Hey, my friend.
Hi, Jenny. I was just thinking. I called up the Republican station the other day. I said, you had a Republican mayor in the 20s, Big Bill Thompson. I said, if you look in the encyclopedia, he was the most crooked mayor in the history of the world. I mean, you take a hot stove at the drop of a hat. That was during Al Capone's. The murder rate was through the ceiling. For $50, you could beat any rap in the city. But he was the last Republican mayor. The other thing, real quick, about every time that I call up, when they start talking about Marx, I go nuts. I call up and I say, which Marx are you talking about? Harpo, Zeppo, or Groucho? No, we're talking about Karl. What the fuck, Karl Marx? Did you ever go to Mexico City? I was down there, and my gal took me to see Trotsky's place.
Oh.
Where Trotsky was murdered in his apartment.
I've never been. That's in Mexico City?
It's in Mexico City, yeah. And the gal who did it, she was just so devoted to that particular thing. You felt like you're almost. She was describing the murder. His secretary was dating a guy, and he was actually the murderer. She came and stabbed him to death. But she was, your hair would stand up on your head. But that was in Mexico City. Yeah, my wife was half Irish and half Mexican.
Come on, really?
Yeah, honest to God. And then
me too. Say, that's my background.
But they wanted to be a little higher. They'd say, "We got a castle in Spain somewhere." That was their last name. Anyway, Guadalajara. I love Mexico, but now, you see a couple of Mexicans. I'll see a couple of Mexicans at the track, and I'll mention that. They look at me like, "Are you could go to Mexico now?" I'm like, "Oh well, it doesn't look like it's too safe now." But I used to love Mexico City.
Well, I have a friend. There's a friend of mine who spent 3 months living in Mexico City last year during the pandemic, and I have another friend who visited. And one of the place I would like to take my son. My mother is 86. She was born in Ciudad Acuña. That's the border town with Del Rio, Texas. But she lived most of her time in Mexico City before moving to the United States when she was 33 or 31. Sorry, mommy. But I would love for her to visit Mexico City with my son, so she has a chance to kind of show him around. And I understand the area around Cayoacan, which is where Frida Kahlo's house is supposed to be relatively safe. It's supposed to be a nice area, so that's what we're gonna.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. Yeah, I've been there. That's like a classier part of town. There's a lot of Americans that live up that way.
Yeah.
And we're a real quick one.
Yes.
They found when I was down there, they found they were doing a subway or something. They found an Aztec thing. And anyway, it was right in the middle of Mexico City, and they were talking about sacrificing people, for different things. And I thought of this pandemic, and the way the Republicans handled it was, let's sacrifice as many people as we can.
Sure. Yeah.
For the economy and the alter the economy. So it's similar to the Aztec, taking human beings and just willy-nilly sacrificing them. Anyway, Patty, you have a good show. Thank you, sir.
Of course. Have a great night, Jim. Talk to you again soon. And we've got, let's see how much time I have. I got a minute and a half. Dave, how's it going?
All right. Hey, Patty.
Hey.
Hey, did you see where Ted Cruz had supposedly said that the Republicans, if they get back in again, that they're going to go impeach Joe Biden.
Even if it's not legitimate. I believe he says all the inside your head stuff on the outside, doesn't he? Whether it's justified or not. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, well, if he does, him and the Republicans do, though, for this, try to impeach him, is there going to be a witch hunt like back when Ken Starr had on Clintons for Whitewater?
Exactly.
And at the time, that was the most expensive one at $52 million. So I can just imagine how much taxpayer money is going to be spent on trying to, witch hunt on Biden and that.
Yep. By the way, speaking of Clinton and Ken Starr, have you watched? I haven't finished it yet. I've only seen a couple episodes of FX's True, like American Crime, and they're doing Monica Lewinsky. Have you seen any of that?
No, I hadn't. But last night I was watching that on Channel 11. They had that about the insurrection and what led up to it. It's really good.
Yeah, I should watch some of that. It's just so strange that that we saw it with our own eyes, and it doesn't matter to conservatives. It's so mind-boggling. I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah. And, also, I seen this morning on the business thing that you might, when Tom Apple comes back in, Deere and Company had unveiled an autonomous tractor.
Oh, boy.
For the electronics show. And I think he said something like about the buses and that he figured he ain't going to see it in his lifetime. Well, I don't know about that, because years ago, when I was in a extra education class at Harper one time, and the instructor said then, it may even be quicker than that now, he said that every 5 years it makes a jump. Technology makes a jump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, like what and that. So, but they didn't have nothing on there for about mountings for baseball cards or anything, though. So.
Oh boy. Well, Dave, you reminded me of something, by the way.
Okay.
Well, one second. You reminded me of something when it comes to agriculture and the automated tractors. If you look for 360 corn video, let me see what it is. 360-degree farm tour. I did a series of videos with the Illinois farm families, the corn marketing board, and I learned a lot about their technology. And you can watch all 4 videos, and you get inside the tractor cab and how they actually do have like this GPS and the automation. So take a look at those videos.
They got air conditioning. They got it's Cadillacs.
It's even better than that. So go ahead and check that out on YouTube. 360-degree farm tour. One video I'm looking at right now is protecting the corn. I learned a lot about farming. So the city girl learned a lot.
You got to watch. And remember, you got to watch that Twilight Zone episode.
Yes.
Episode 4.
Alive, right? Yep.
All right.
Thank you so much, Dave. Take care. Bye, Dave. Let's take a break here, and we'll come back and continue our conversation. Thank you. There's an article someone just sent me that I want to talk about Niles West and some schools that are going remote. More in a moment.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago traffic update.
Traveling through Antioch, crews are investigating an earlier reported fatal crash that has Route 173 blocked off between Converse Road and Lake Avenue. In Warrenville, crash investigation closes down Winfield Road between Mack and Swan Lake Drive. In Elk Grove Village, an accident with injuries at Beesterfield and Meacham. In Elgin, long delays. Traffic lights are flashing red on Randall Road at Big Timber. In Homer Glen, an injury crash on Parker Road near 151st. North I-57, bumper to bumper from Wilmington Road up to Peatone with a 5-car pileup blocking the right lane. Kennedy in from O'Hare at 22, outbound in 24. Ike inbound 32 minutes, 390 to the circle. Outbound's wide open. South I-55, solid from I-80 down to Arsenal. That's traffic. I'm Mary DeBadges.
I bought football tickets for my husband's birthday, and now I'm in a football bubble. All I see online are articles and ads about football. I hate feeling manipulated. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
This is Gary Menzel from Roofers and Waterproofers Local 11. If you're looking to have a new roof installed this year, let Local 11 Residential Roofers Union send out Filato Construction, serving Plainfield, Joliet, Crest Hill, and the south suburbs. Filato Construction employs skilled and trained OSHA 10-hour certified workers who will work safely while on your roof. Local 11 residential roofers earn a living wage and receive family health care and a retirement pension for their hard work. When you hire Filato Construction, you get competitive pricing, professional union installers, and the peace of mind knowing the job was done right. So if you're a homeowner or a part of a homeowners association and you're tired of a leaky roof or tired of the neighborhood roofer who just can't seem to get it done right, give Filato Construction a call at 815-740-5461. Filato Construction also installs solar roofing with a certified Local 134 electrician. Learn more about residential roofing at rooferslocal11.org.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
We know you're not quick with opinions beyond your tight circle of friends, but that's why people listen whenever you choose to weigh in. You've been a clear voice of reason, careful when choosing your words. Now that it's down to what's right and what's wrong, it's time for that voice to be heard.
You're listening to Driving at Home with me, Patti Vasquez. That's little Chris Jones. Go to chrisjonesgrass.com for more of his wonderful music. It's Chris Jones and the Night Drivers. He also hosts a podcast and show on SiriusXM. He plays some great bluegrass music, talks about the history, and I look forward to seeing him perform live again soon, I hope. I want to check in with our friends who are joining us on our Facebook live stream. You might see that they changed the camera. I'm like, right up here. It's very close. I have to worry about my hair more, I think. It was a farther away shot before. But thank you so much for joining us today. And it looks like, I'm trying to think, there was something that caught my attention on this conversation, that it's someone's birthday. Audrey! It's Audrey's mom's birthday tomorrow. So wishing Audrey's mom a happy birthday. And Karen's son's birthday. So, hi, everybody. And I also, by the way, if you are joining us on WCPT Facebook Live's page, like our page, so you know when we go live, and you can always join the great conversations. I got a new business card. How cool is that? WCPT 820, Patti Vasquez, host and executive producer. So, I'm all excited about that. Makes me legit. I guess I'm staying for a little bit. So, thank you, Antonio, and everybody here at WCPT. And I wanted to address, there's an article that someone sent to our Twitter, or to our text account. There's so many things to manage. I got the Facebook Live, we got Twitter news, we've got the text screen. But someone sent me an article. First, someone sent me a cartoon some folks sitting around a campfire, 3 little kids, and someone sitting cross-legged, and he's got a suit that's all torn. I'm guessing it's the post-apocalyptic scene, and it says, "Yes, the nation was destroyed, but for a brief moment, we owned the libs." And that just seems to be the operating procedure for conservatives, is just owning the libs rather than doing the right thing. But we have to keep showing up. But I got an article about about Niles West. Let's see if they went remote for this surge during the pandemic. Niles West and Niles North high schools are learning remotely for 2 weeks. And I know that there are college campuses that are also switching back to remote learning in order to make sure that everybody is safe. So I get where, like I said, I get where Paul's coming from in that conversation, where kids are safer when they're in schools as far as violence goes, but it also just assumes that we are willing to risk the kids that are showing up at school and their families and the people in their communities. So it's sort of a balance. We have the direct numbers of what if a child is involved in a violent crime, right? And so we also know with the rate at which the violence has been going this year that there will be people involved in a sad and horrible and tragic violence on our streets in Chicago, because that's, that was the second half of their conversation, was about police presence. And that was another reason I wanted to talk to Representative Jaime Andrade, because in his district, a young girl was at home doing her homework, a 7-year-old, and a bullet came through her window. And he's going to be introducing legislation because if somebody is involved in let's say a shootout, or if there's gunfire, if there is not a victim, if someone is not hit, then there isn't really any. There's no law that says that a bullet through a window is any worse than any other sort of property damage. So he wants to introduce legislation that if there's property damage as a result of gunfire, that is a different law that has been broken. And that seems to make sense, because I hadn't even thought of that. If there are shootouts, and there were over 140 bullets recovered in a shootout recently, and and there was someone killed. And I don't even know if they have caught that assailant. So it's just an interesting approach, I think. I think there are a lot of people who are just trying to figure out what can we do. And again, to Paul's conversation with Joan about also protecting people who come forward, witness protection. If people don't want to report, if they don't want to submit, even whether it's video from their front porch or their eyewitness account, how do we apprehend the criminals? I just don't know. So it's a lot to tackle. But I think that putting kids back in schools while we are in the middle of this surge, while it's so transmissible, I think that is. I'm not willing to take those chances, and I'm not eager, I guess is a better way to take those chances. Representative Andrade just messaged me. He might be able to join us. Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, Patty. How are you?
I'm, hanging in there. The muscles in my neck are really tight, and I can't go for a massage. I need to find ways to relax. How do you relax? Reading and music and TV? What's your go-to?
Well, a variety of those. Mm-hmm. I just had, tomorrow would be the 1 year since that attempted fascist coup d'etat on D.C. Mm-hmm. And I personally have never held a gun in my entire life and never intend to. I am nonviolent. But I recollect that there was a black police officer who shot that traitor. And if I was in his position, I would have kept it pumping till the ammunition was gone, because under the law, I am entitled to something, mainly my life. And I say, don't be afraid of these fascists, because when I was young, the old folks used to say, a brave person only dies once, a coward dies every day.
Wow. Yeah. There you go. What's that from again, Brian? Tell us.
A brave person dies once, a coward dies every day.
What is the origin of that quote, is what I was asking, just so we all know.
Oh, some old folks used to say that when I was young.
I feel like that. I feel like I should know. I feel like that's from something. No, but it's true. I think that's, and people want to twist that moment too when a woman was trying to get into the speaker's chambers. Yeah, I mean, all the talk about just comply. If she had just complied, right, and backed down.
Well, that officer had a right to, under the law, protect his life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think he was found. I think that was what the courts found as well. The investigation found that he had acted within his rights as a law enforcement agent.
Well, thank you very much for taking my call, Patty, and have a wonderful day.
You as well. I just got a text from Representative Andrade. They're trying to figure out what's going on down in Springfield. I know I jump around from story to story. We're talking about CPS and CTU and the standoff they had, which has led to a cancellation of classes today, and it seems as though that will be the case tomorrow. It is... it's now almost 6 o'clock, and we have not heard anything about whether or not our kids will be in school tomorrow. We're talking about January 6th, and whether it's the investigation or what's on your mind. Someone sent me a picture of something they saw on January 6th. I had to go back through the text and see when that picture came in. Sorry. Oh, it's Larry in Wheeling. On November 6th, 2020, I was driving to work, and this flatbed truck passed me on Route 12 in Killdeer. If my wife would let me, I would drive that truck all over the country and pay for the gas. And it's one of those moving billboards that has Trump's face on it in the O of the big, huge block letters, loser. So, like I said, it seems to be one of the things that Trump responds to is being humiliated. He will not be humiliated. He wants to be respected. I'm getting a text. Oh, I can't say that word on the air, Senator. I just got a text from a senator who says it's an S show in Springfield. I can't say that. An S show, that seems like it conveys the message, right, Paul? It's an S show in Springfield. On that, let's take a break. 773-763-9278. If you want to join us and talk about any of these topics or maybe something else that is on your mind, give us a call, 773-763-9278, and maybe I'll get more of an update on the S show. It's going on. I think that sums it up. It's an S show in Springfield. That sounds about right.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
I hope everyone is treating you kindly today, and every day for that matter. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. People who experience discrimination frequently were around 25% more likely to be diagnosed with a mental disorder, twice as likely to develop serious psychological distress than people who don't experience discrimination or do so less often. That's according to a recent study by researchers at UCLA, who found 93% of participants experienced some type of discrimination over the course of their 10-year study. Interestingly, ageism was the number one reason people said they were discriminated against, followed by physical appearance, sexism, and racism. One psychologist we talked to stressed this: sometimes you can't have control with your family or your job, but you should really think about who you surround yourself with. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Oops, that button's not working. Hold on a second. Let me get some music up for you. Let's see. We'll do a little Riding the Chief. Oh, nope. Oh, look at that. Oh, it was me. There we go. on-air production meeting. Hey, Paul? Is Paul not in the... hold on a second. Let me see. Let me roll this down. I have... let me see if Paul... I don't know if I can do this. Let me see if I can do an outgoing call. One second. Let me see. Let's see. No, that doesn't work. Hey, Paul, can you message Paul? I just need to get there's a phone number right on the on that. Did I do something? Oh, we can call from here. That's the number right there. Oh. So we were going to talk to Representative Jaime Andrade, who is on the floor of the General Assembly in the chamber of the House of Representatives. Wanted to talk to him about a piece of legislation that he is planning to introduce that would change gunfire on property damage to be a different law that is being broken rather than just destruction of property. And this is in response to he's talking about how his community has become a war zone, and that there's been a lot of gun violence in his community. Is it not going through? I have to message him and say that we're trying to call him. Is that right? Did I do that right? 59. Oop. To really make sure I'm not giving out people's phone numbers on the air. But he is, they have convened in Springfield. They have voted to once again vote remotely. And let me message him and say that we're trying to call. And we hope to be able to, let's see, calling right now. This is on-air production, folks. This is how we do it. There's that. Boom. And Representative Andrade represents the area that is like the Independence Park area, the area around Albany Park, right on the parts of the northwest side. And he's been on the show before, and I want to talk to him a little bit about what's going on in his community. And there's been a lot of stories in regards to the lack of police officers. And this is another thing that Paul and Joan were talking about, is how many people... let me make sure. What's the number here? Type in the number he can call us. Call us and do this. Sorry. Call us. Give me the number. What is it? We don't know what the number is. All right. I am. It's just one of those things where we were trying to get this as this story in Springfield was developing. Just to catch you up a little bit. The chamber of the Senate did not have a quorum as of noon. I believe they only had 29 members of the Democrats that were there, and they needed 30 in order to have a quorum. So the Republicans decided, well, if they don't have a quorum, we're not going to be here to give them enough numbers to do any work today because we're mad about the maps. And these are the kinds of games that are played in Springfield. There's often this sort of tit for tat, and look, both sides do it. I would say that, hey, if you're in power and you get to call some of these shots, as we are seeing in other state legislatures around the country. A lot of the work that the Dems do in Illinois is to protect the rights of workers, to make sure that we have services that are necessary. And the Republicans are often the party of no. We don't want to do what's necessary to make sure that everyone in the state has what they need. And this is something that...
Hang on.
Oh, look at that. We're going right to Representative Andrade. Hey, Representative, thank you so much, Matt. Matt had to come in and... Sorry, I should have had my... I tested negative and been safe and everything. Hey, Representative, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, how are you?
I am okay.
How's it going?
It's going all right, but it sounds like some shenanigans down in Springfield. What is going on?
No, right now we're just... there's always differences. And right now the rules is meeting. And the bill will come out of there, and then we'll probably do a public safety bill, a trailer bill, and then we'll probably, it looks like the Senate just did elections and stuff. So it's just moving along. We'll be here for a while. I planned, I booked, I didn't cancel my rooms or anything, so I was planning to stay the night,
So you guys are adjourning in person today, and probably, you're in person today, but you probably not be in person for a couple of weeks and do your work remotely, right?
So those are just committees.
Oh, really?
Committees, yeah. I mean, there are members that had we passed the bill, like the House resolution bill, that allows for extension of remote voting, but it's not designed for the whole General Assembly to do it. It's just for we still need it. That's the difference. It's not because you don't want to come here, you want to be in Florida or in the warm weather or something. So that's not an excuse. you're still supposed to be here. And there's a lot of members that tested positive last night, and some other members, so they just that's what it's designed for. It's not
you have members that are testing positive. I haven't heard stories about this yet.
Oh yeah, no, numbers tested positive, and some members came last night when we got the shield test, which is not required on our side, but most members tested. I tested before I came down, and they were symptomatic. They didn't have any symptoms, and they tested positive. So we were close. We were at 62.
Wow.
So what happens is, when the number is low, that is when people say, "Oh, you know what? I'm not sure if I'm going to be here today," until I get a little conversation.
Oh,
I think that's what happened.
Okay, a little bit of power play.
We needed a little bit of power play because we needed 60 people. Those 60 people, 60 yes votes in person to pass the resolution bill that allows for remote voting. So that's why all the delays they were. That's what the person delayed. Now it's just postal requirements that we're working on now.
I hadn't heard that there were members that have tested positive. I think that, we'd also heard that during the slating event last month for the Cook County Dems, that there was an outbreak there as well. So I'm guessing there's still the after effects of that. I would think, don't you?
Oh yeah, I think here, and like I told everyone, the only certainty is that you are negative. If you come out negative on your test, you are only negative the second you take the test, right?
Right.
Because you could take it again in an hour, and the incubation period might have actually just kicked in.
Right.
And you're positive, so you are only negative the second you take the test. Then anything can happen.
Right. Everyone's got to be safe. Right.
You got to be safe. I'm wearing double mask today here on the floor. Because it's just, there's a lot of members that don't test for everything, and there's some members that don't get the vaccine. So it's better to be safe than sorry. And, they did ask us to wear surgical masks, so a lot of us have surgical masks underneath our regular cloth mask because it looks like the CDC says the cloth masks are not working with this Omicron.
Yeah, no, people, the N95s, the KN95s, and then the step down from that, surgical masks provide more safety measures coverage than cloth masks. I want to make sure that we talk about, the conversations you've been having, and you've been very vocal about the safety of your neighborhood when it comes to gun violence. Tell listeners a little bit about your community and how much you have seen a surge of violence where you live and serve.
So I've lived in my community for a long time, but there's been some crime. But these last couple of years, it's been brazen. It's been, it's always been, the gangbangers. There was some sense of respect for the neighbors, and if they shot each other, they shot each other. But what's happening now? It's becoming the Wild Wild West. I mean, if you saw on some other news channel, basically there's an area. And we have pockets in Albany Park and Irving Park, and the crime there is just completely out of control. Bullets going into people's homes. I mean, just around my house, we had literally 5 houses that had bullets, stray bullets going into their homes. We had, just Sunday night, I'm doing a study. And I'm reading bills for bill review on Monday, and I see a post of this lady. She posts at, I think 9:30 or something at night. Says, her house was just shot up, and so I went on Facebook and I told her I posted my cell number. I told her to call me, and I said, hey, I see this happen, and she calls me. Yeah, she's like, it's an hour at 9:20, so I called her around 10 something. And I said, she goes, yeah, but no one's coming, no police have come to my home. And so I called 17th District, and the sergeant was like, he's literally saying, I just don't have the cars to send, the police came immediately on the first initial call when the shots were fired, right? And because that's what the neighbors told me. They saw the police there. They came. They didn't see, anything happen. So then, but then what happens is, since no one was hit, no one was hurt, the priority of that call dropped, basically.
Right.
Because it's just, we don't have the manpower. We just don't. Do everything. The people just don't want to be police officers anymore. 17th District is on other calls, and we just don't have the manpower on the 17th. I don't care what anyone says. It goes as officers and stuff. They're telling me we don't have officers. So when I went there, the sergeant said, "We'll send someone over." And basically, what happened was they just installed cameras on her front windows, right? One facing the Ainsley and Drake, and one facing north, one facing south. Just last week, and I guess the gangbangers didn't like that and tried to shoot out her camera, so she put out.
Wow.
And so I went over there. They said, "Hey, can you come over? We appreciate if you would be here when the police come over." I said, "Absolutely. I'm always available." So I went over to the house. It's like 10:45, 11 p.m. I'm over there, and then you finally figure it out how the bullets came in, and the police, everyone found the bullet, and it was crazy. If their daughter would have been kneeling on the chair, if the mom was standing next to her daughter doing homework or just looking at the computer together, that bullet would have hit them. And she was just a 10-month-old. And so the bullet, it's just crazy. It just went through the living room. One bullet went in and out. But basically, the gangbangers did not appreciate that they put new cameras on their house. And so, but this is, Ainsley and Drake is basically a war zone. I mean, I get people, as you know, I'm very accessible, so they call me, they text me, say that shots fired again. And it's 2-3 times a week. What really got to me was, one of the neighbors called me before, and I've been talking to him, and he said, "Listen, Jimmy, these gangbangers come out here and literally antagonize the other gangs to say, hey, we're here on Anthony Drake. Where are you? Come and get us. And we're waiting for you. Come and get me. I got something for you." Basically, with their gun in their hands, saying, "I got something for you. Come and get me." So what happens is, after I'm there for a little while, I actually do a Facebook Live. While I am doing Facebook Live, the gangbangers come back. 7 deep, come back, go to Ainsley and Drake, and start literally, you think they're at a graduation party, posing for pictures. They start posing for pictures, doing, social media live. You can hear them, yelling at the phone, basically antagonizing the other gangbangers. And within a few minutes afterwards, the cars come looking for them, trying to catch them. So they can.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah. So then, but they leave, and then the cops come around again, and then what happens is while I'm still doing the Facebook Live, they come back again doing the same thing. And you could see them with their guns out, taking the pictures of their guns, so they could basically criminal enticement of the other gangbangers. And a lot of this, a lot of these shootings happen because they disrespect each other on social media. So it's like a prime eagle thing. So they come after each other. So and this is so the neighbors are like, while I was there, I had to live through what they lived through every night, thinking, is this the moment where that bullet's going to go in my house? The next door neighbor told me his basement, his neighbor who lived next door to him in a garden apartment moved.
Yeah, and that's what I read from the story that you were involved in, that people are looking to move. Representative, I've gone past my show, and I have to end it. But no, I want to invite you back, and I'll message you and see what works for your schedule, because I know things are up in the air right now with the General Assembly. Again, we've been talking to Representative Jaime Andrade, who represents the 40th District over on the north side, Independence Park, Albany Park, and a good friend of the show. And we wish you a safe travel back, and thank you for all the work that you do, sir.
No problem. Let me know, and I'll be back to tell you about that new bill that I want to change.
Yeah, I want to make sure we talk about that bill. Yep, we'll make that up, and I'll make sure we can stretch out a little bit. Thank you so much for joining us last minute. Sir, Judy, I'm so sorry I couldn't get the Judy's call, but please call me back tomorrow, Judy, and we will talk to you all tomorrow. The Devil's Advocate is up next. Mike Crute. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Paul.
AP News, I'm Tim McGuire. Tomorrow is the first anniversary of the attack on the Capitol by supporters of then-President Donald Trump. Attorney General Merrick Garland says the Justice Department